Hi, everyone, and welcome to Dealer Synergies Webinar Wednesdays. My name is Shawnee Houlihan, and I'll be your moderator today. This week, Joe Calla, General Manager of Dealer Synergy, is back and will be presenting his webinar, Looking Through the Eyes of the Consumer. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that if you have any questions, make sure to send them to us through the questions feature located on your screen, and Joe will answer them at the end of the presentation. Also, please feel free to live tweet this webinar using hashtag Webinar Wednesdays.
Hey everyone, thank you for coming and spending some time with me here. And we want to make some deposits to help you increase your opportunities to do business, sell more cars more often and more profitably. So today we're going to talk about looking through the eyes of the consumer. Okay, so what are you going to take away from this? Because obviously you're here because there's something that you want to get that you can apply and have with you to deal with your client base, with your dealership, with your department, and your customers. So what is it that you're going to take away here? By the end of this webinar, we will answer these questions and provide a strategy to implement in the handling of our customers. Number one, what do customers want? And I think this is a very important question because obviously that's who we're dealing with on a daily basis is our customers. And they're the ones who keep our doors open. If it wasn't for our customers, let's not forget that we wouldn't be employed and have the opportunity to make a living and to be successful in our endeavors. So we need to understand and know what our customers want. Secondly, what do customers see when they look at our websites, when they look at our digital initiatives, when they look at our inventory on our classified pages and different third-party sites? What do they see when they look at our appearance, our personal appearance, the showrooms, the dealership's exterior appearance as well? Also, how do customers want to be treated? Okay, this is very important because we need to have an understanding of how they want to be treated. And then finally, does it really matter what the customer sees, feels, and thinks? I've talked to people where they really don't care. They just don't care about the customer. They're going to do it the way they do it regardless of what they see, feel, or think. And they just totally ignore it. So we don't want to do that. So as we go forward, we're going to start off here with talking about and showing you a graph here that we pulled from Polk data. Okay, in 2013, Polk Automotive Buyer Influence study by AutoTrader, we see here through this reasons why people choose car dealerships to purchase a vehicle. Okay, so looking at this Polk study, we see that on this piece, I'm going to go ahead and show you this on a little bit more close-up of this. But we see the reasons why through this study car buyers choose the dealerships that they end up buying their cars from. Now, number one, they had the car that the person wanted. So the dealership had the car that the consumer wanted. 39% of the people in that poll said that's the reason why they chose that dealership. They had the exact car that they wanted. Okay, 32% said that they were offered the best deal. Okay, so the top two, as we see, is the exact car. And again, I'm not stating that it's the exact car that they called about. It's not the exact car that they initially started on, but ultimately it was the exact car that they wanted. And that's also dependent on the ability of the sales rep and the sales professional and the management team to make sure that they land the people on the right car. We're going to get into that as well. But 39% said they had the car they wanted. 32% said they offered the best deal. And then 21% said the past experience with the dealer is what influenced their decision to come and buy at that dealership. So past experience does matter, and how you treat your customers today will affect your business tomorrow. And we need to always remember that. Because the way people are treated is the way that they're going to go out and talk about the experience. And so experience is important. I want you to remember that. So the next piece is, and it drops significantly, as you can see, from 21 to 10%, is dealer's reputation. I mean, look, dealer's reputation management is important. It's important to make sure that you're focusing on for that 10, specifically that 10%. And I get it. It's a poll, so there's different averages amongst, if you did another poll somewhere else, there might be a difference there as well. But ultimately, it does make a difference, our dealer's reputation, especially in the community that we're in, and then also online. So we want to make sure we're managing that as best as we can. And then dealer locations actually equal to the dealer's reputation. So, I mean, because people just are local to where their local dealer is and they just live in the area, they're going to do business. Just 10% of these people are just going there because of the location. That's why they're choosing it. Okay? Next, 7% are referrals from someone else. In other words, someone else actually had an experience with that dealership, and then they referred a family member, a friend, or acquaintance, or somebody else to that dealership. That's why they chose them. 6% dealers service department. So that's good to hear and know as well, that you actually are gaining opportunity, and we know this to be true, that there's opportunity in the service department. And so you want to make sure that you maximize your ability to service your people the right way in there. So it does matter. Your fixed ops, everything does make a difference to add to your sales opportunities. Another thing is always buying from my salesperson. Now, there's just some people who that's the person they buy from. That's who my dad bought from. That's who my brother bought from. That's who I buy from. That's who my kids buy from. That's my sales guy. That's my saleswoman. That's just who we buy from. Okay. Next, we see that the person's liked the salesperson. They liked the salesperson that they dealt with, and they were treated well. And so we see that, that's definitely influential as well. So, I mean, it's 3%. But again, I'd like to have every percent accounted for. So we got to make sure we do that. Also, number 3 is, let's see here. You found the dealer or the car advertised. Okay, 3% there online. So obviously your online initiatives make a difference. And then 2%, you saw your dealer's ad in a magazine or newspaper. 1% saw your dealer's ad on TV. 1% your dealer's amenities. 1% financial and credit, and 1% is other. Now, look, after everything's said and done, I want us to remember and realize this, that every single one of these pieces here, okay, is important. We have to make sure, obviously, we're seeing the influence that it has. And when it comes to sourcing, we have to remember that sourcing, there's really no straight strategy to get the exact reason why somebody came in. As much as we say, what brought you in today? How did you decide to come and do business with us today? How did you find us? Where did you see us on? And as much as we can gather as much intel as we can, there's multiple things that are triggering the reasons why somebody's coming to do business with us. It might be, okay, so what made you come and decide to come here today? And how did you find us? Or how did you hear about ABC Motors or whatever the name of your store is? And they may say, well, a friend referred me to you. Or they may say, well, I bought a car from you in the past. But ultimately, that doesn't mean that they didn't shop online, that they didn't do different things that were causing additional triggers and cause additional opportunities for them to be influenced to help ultimately make their decision. So there's many things that could help trigger them to go and make that final decision to show up at your dealership. But again, ultimately, we see that there's certain ones that have more influence than others, okay? So the next piece that we want to focus on is this, is that we see that the top 2 things are, number 1, the exact car, number 2, the best price. Now, consumers are not going to buy from dealers they consider untrustworthy, okay? Even though that those dealers may have the exact car at the best price, if they feel like the dealer is shady or that they're not trustworthy, they're not going to do business. And what we see here is that even if somebody has the best price, but they're considered untrustworthy, 7 out of 10 people, or 70%, aren't buying from that dealership. 30% will, okay, you'll still gain some opportunity, but you're losing the big chunk of 70% when it comes to the fact that you seem like you're not trustworthy. And again, you might be trustworthy, but it's what you're putting out there. It's what the perception of your dealership is showing that causes people to have that perception to make them feel like you're untrustworthy. The next thing is this. You can have the exact car that they want, but if they feel like you're not trustworthy or you're shady again, man, 74%, even though they have the exact car, are walking out and finding somewhere else to go do business. I mean, that's a big chunk of opportunities that's totally missed there. Okay? So you got 26% that will say yes to, even if they feel like you're a little bit shady and I really don't trust you. I'm still going to go ahead and give you my money and my business and keep your doors open anyway. Okay? So going further here, let's look one step further. We see obviously that from this information, from this data, that we can pull a lot of different reasons why customers do business. But ultimately, when we look at all of this, what's the question we're trying to answer? What do customers want? What do they want when they go to a dealership, when they deal with a dealership, when they deal with the car buying experience? Number one is this. They want the exact car that meets their wants, their needs, and their expectations. Now let me just expand on this a little bit, because when I say they want the exact car that meets their wants, needs, and expectations, that doesn't mean that they're going to get the exact car that they called about or the exact car that they sent the lead in on. That means that simply this. Ultimately, when they say yes to the car, they're saying yes to the exact car that they were landed on that met their needs, their wants, their wishes, and their expectations. And see, it's very important for us as sales professionals to really have an understanding of how to extract that information and find out specifically what those wants, wishes, and expectations are. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. It's very important to understand the need that they're trying to fill. When customers are coming into our showroom and they're talking to us on the phone and they're talking to us online, they're submitting leads, and they're doing this communication, they're trying to satisfy a need. They think that they're calling you to buy a Toyota. They think that they're calling you to buy a Honda. But ultimately, what they're buying is not either of those things or any of those things. And I just want to give you the example that Zig Ziglar used once before. And he said this, in the year that he said it, he said last year, 2 million quarter-inch drill bits were sold. He said the problem with that was this. Not one person who bought those quarter-inch drill bits wanted a quarter-inch drill bit. What they wanted was they wanted to meet a need, and the need was they needed a quarter-inch hole, and in order to get that need met, they needed to buy a quarter-inch drill bit. Well, what's the need that we're trying to satisfy for our clients? The need is transportation. The vehicle is to give them and provide them with transportation, but within that transportation, there's certain wants, there's certain wishes, and certain expectations that have to be in there in order for us to be able to sync together with our customer so that they can find that exact vehicle. So we have to remember that although they may call specifically on one vehicle, 15% of those people who call in on an exact vehicle end up buying it. But that means 85% of people that call in on a specific vehicle or submit a lead on a specific vehicle end up leaving or buying with something different. They may have came in thinking they're buying a Toyota Camry, but they're driving home in a Honda Accord, or they're driving home in a Toyota Corolla. So what happens is through our expertise and our professionalism and asking the right questions and gathering the right information, we can then qualify them for the exact vehicle that meets their wants, wishes, and expectations, okay? So it's very important to understand that. What else do customers want? Well, they want the best price. What does that mean? That means that they want the best price, or what they think the best price is. Again, if I sold a Camry for $2,500 behind invoice, right? And that was the best deal I've ever seen go out on a Camry. And in all the years that I've been doing this, we actually let a Camry go for $3,000 below, whatever the number was. When somebody says, give me your best price, that doesn't mean go into your DMS, go in and look and see what the best price ever on that exact model was, and then you have to give them that best price. No, what we need to provide to them is the ability to obviously get the best price that they think they're going to get. We need to give them the best price. When somebody would say, well, what's the best price? Well, the best price is the price that we agree upon. The best price is the price that makes sense to you to say yes. So that's where we need to find that out. And obviously, we always say this too, is that price is only relevant in the absence of value. When you are not providing the necessary value to substantiate that price and to validate that price, then price is the issue. And they're going to continually work you on price and hammer you on price and try to get better pricing because they don't see the value for them to want to spend that money and part with it to say that that's the best price. Okay? So another thing too is a trustworthy dealership. What does that mean? That means that whatever we do and how we project ourselves and how we communicate in our transparency or lack of, or whatever it may be that we're doing in communication with the client base, both online, on the phone, and on the lot, we need to make sure that we are projecting a trustworthy look to them. We want to make sure that they feel that they can trust us and that they can truly trust us with their information, with the handling of this experience for them trying to make a purchase of a vehicle. They want a trustworthy dealership. So what do customers want? The exact car that meets their wants, needs, and expectations, the best price or what they think the best price is, and a trustworthy dealership. Secondly, what do customers see when they look at our websites? What do customers see when they look at our inventory and the appearances and the showrooms and everything else that comes with the entire experience? Because all of this all matters. What we show people and what people see really does influence the entire experience and puts a perception in their mind based off of what they see. So let's go deep into this, all right? What do people see when they pull up to your lot? What are they looking at? Are they looking at a lot that's nice and in order, and your cars are lined up good? Your line is nice and clean. You don't have garbage blowing around everywhere. You don't have weeds growing up on the sidewalks and coming through the cracks. I mean, the exterior is sharp. It looks good. It looks professional, and it looks like something that's welcoming to somebody when they come through. Okay, you want to keep your appearance neat and clean. I mean, you don't want, again, this is very exaggerated, but you don't want to have, when people are walking through your showroom, you don't want to, walk past a car that's on your showroom floor that some kid wrote on the back trunk, "Wash me," or "Clean me, please," because there's 2 inches of dust on there that you haven't wiped down because the cars have been up there for so long. And so you want to make sure that your appearance is clean, it's in order, that your bathrooms are clean, that you're constantly checking them, making sure that they're not, falling apart with, leaks, and that there's, water all over the sink, and there's water marks on the windows, and there's zip, popped on the windows or on the mirrors. You don't want all that stuff looking. I mean, you want to keep it clean. Having people go in and out throughout the day and making sure everything looks good. Okay. The next thing is how are customers seeing us as car sales reps? Okay, as car sales professionals, they already have a perceived notion in their mind of an idea of what we look like and what we, are. Okay, so let's not look like what people think that we are. Okay, let's make sure we keep our appearance groomed. Let's make sure that we look sharp. Let's make sure that we are keeping our appearance, in clean, and our hair's good, and we're shaved nice. Everything's neat and everything looks good. If you have a dress down code and you have polos and different things like that, that's fine. It's not all about obviously wearing shirts and ties, but it's all about looking professional, looking clean, and looking presentable. Okay. Also, when it comes to our inventory, how does that look when customers are seeing online our inventory? This is probably not the best example for an inventory page for a picture of a vehicle. They decided to take pictures inside the shop. So, I mean, when you're taking pictures inside the shop, it looks like the vehicle's being worked on, or maybe it didn't make it to the lot yet because it's broken down, and so there's a couple of vehicles up and on the lifts around them. So this is probably not the best idea when it comes to taking pictures of your inventory. All right, and this is a good friend of mine here who man, he sets. You have to have proper staging. He has in his shop. He has a specific setup where he has it staged completely. He's got the floor tiles that just connect together. He's got the lighting above. He's got the logo of his dealership and the two backdrops that are there. And then what he does is he takes, incredible photos. He has head-on photos. He has 40-something photos pretty much on all of them, and it looks sharp. Don't forget, just going back here again, don't forget, appearance makes a difference. This is your product. This is what you're selling, right? It's like if you went out to dinner and you ordered something from the menu, whatever it was, let's just say it was a filet mignon and you had, some mushrooms on it and you had some, potatoes on the side, some asparagus and whatever it was, and they came out and it was just, thrown together. It's got juice running off the edge of the plates. It looks like it's just everything's on top of each other. It's not presented properly. But the reason why when they go ahead and they put together the meal the way they do, and they have the meat on one area, then they have something set up on the side of it, the asparagus, and they have the potatoes there, and then they have the garnish on top. They take the napkin and they wipe around the edge of the dish. Why do they do that? Because it's all about presentation. And then when it comes to our vehicles, we got to make sure we're doing the right thing when it comes to presentation, okay? Because customers see this stuff and they're forming opinions, and it makes a difference, okay? So you don't want to just be the best of the worst, okay? And unfortunately, in our business, that's what many times we do. We look at our customers and say, well, we're doing better than them, but they're really terrible, so we're the best of the worst. We don't want to do that. Let's set our standards higher. When it comes to comments, okay, here's a basic example, okay? One owner, you got a clean Carfax. It's 4.0 liter, 6-cylinder, 4-wheel drive, automatic cloth interior, power windows, locks and mirrors, CD player with auxiliary import, front airbags, cruise control. This is normal, basic stuff. This isn't really doing much at all. It's just telling you the one thing is one owner. Okay, good. That's good. But you want to sell it, man. You want to sell the sizzle, basically. You want to make sure that you're talking about the most important stuff within that first 150 characters, okay? Because that's where pretty much people are going to look to. They want to see the main pieces, but you want to make sure that the uniqueness and that the story is told in that first couple of sentences there. Toyota certified, one owner, clean Carfax, no accidents, and service records are available. You win. Oh, yeah. Toyota certified, 2.9% APR up to 60 months, 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Are you looking for a fresh and reliable used vehicle that doesn't smell like somebody's old ashtray? Well, with this outstanding 2000, it goes on, okay? So, again, V-Auto, different, red bumper. There's a lot of these different programs out there that allow you. I know V-Auto has the cheese and the more cheese, the comments and different things. You can create different custom things, but you want to make sure that you are getting the most impact in that first 150 characters. Okay, things that matter, not the normal stuff. Yeah, it's got a manual, rear view mirror. It's got rear defrosters and windshield wipers. And it's got front airbags, okay, great. Every car has that. So we want to make sure we're talking about the stuff that matters, okay? Then the next thing we want to look at is how do customers want to be treated? Well, many times we can discover what people want by finding out what they don't want, okay? We want to make sure that we're finding out the necessary things to treat our customers right. So what is it that they don't want? Well, they don't want to be lied to. Okay, just like yourself, you don't want to be lied to, right? Because don't forget, we are all customers also. A lot of times, we need to go to our websites and start looking at our websites, start looking at our inventory pages, start looking at the different things that our customers look at. We need to go and look at that as well. I know so many dealers that never even take the time to go and look at things the way that the customers look at things. You know what I mean? We just assume that it's just everything's good and everything's working right. I've gone on certain dealership websites where, there's people that are still on the site that haven't been employed there for years, but their names are still on the sites. Why? Because we're not taking the time to just make sure everything's being represented properly. So again, people don't want to be lied to. People don't want to feel like they're being bullied aggressively into a deal. Look, I mean, I've seen it all. We've seen the soft close, the hard close. We bring in the hammer. The hammer comes in, and he's going to bring it hard, man. He's going to just push the person into the vehicle. All of a sudden, the keys go missing for the trade, and there's all the stuff. We don't want to let the person feel like that they're being held captive or bullied or aggressively shoved into a deal, okay? They don't want to feel like they're taken advantage of. I mean, do you want this stuff to happen to you? Most likely not, okay? It's the whole golden rule, and it's not the golden rule who has the most gold, he who has the most gold makes the rules. It's the golden rule where, it's do unto others what we would want to have done to us. Treating them in the same way that we'd want to be treated if we were on the other side of the desk, okay? Don't make them feel like they're being taken advantage of. They don't want to be at the dealership all day and all night. They want to feel like they're going to be able to get this done quickly, okay? This is what they do want. They do want to have a positive experience. I mean, that's what they want. They do want to be treated fair. They do want to be told the truth. They do want to be empowered with confidence. How do you empower someone with confidence? By being confident when you're talking to them, by empowering them with knowledge. When you have knowledge, you can become confident. When the sales rep or the sales professional or the manager is talking to them and they're speaking to them about what they know and about the vehicle and about the product and about the service and about the dealership and about all the stuff that they get, then empowering them with knowledge empowers them with confidence. They want someone who knows what they're talking about. If you're constantly saying, let me check, hold on, I'm not sure, I don't know, we don't really know about that, I'm not sure, it's possible, it could be. Now, would you want to make a deal with somebody who's doing that? Absolutely not. If you have somebody who's confident, they know what they're talking about, they know what they're doing, and then you're empowering the customer to have the confidence in order for you to be able to solidify the deal, okay? So ultimately, what do customers want? Ultimately, customers want to be treated right. They want to feel good about the deal and the experience that they receive. Again, the experience is very important. We have to remember that it's all about experience. See, does it really matter what the customer sees, feels, and thinks? Does it matter? Yes, it does. People start with many preconceived notions of what the experience is going to be like based on what others say, what others see, and how others feel from the information and experience gathered before coming into a dealership. And they also have these different preconceived notions based on what they see, what they feel from the information and experience that they gather from interacting with you as a dealer. Okay? So the experience is very important. And as you can see here, going back to our data from Polk, we saw that the green sections here, what that means is that means that they were clearly influenced by a positive customer handling, by a positive customer experience that helped influence them to making a decision to do business with that dealership. As you can see, these different areas, when you add them all up, it's very important to know that the experience makes a difference. And again, I understand that, what happens is people may not know everything and be able to recite back to you everything that they were told or everything that you said, but people are going to definitely remember how you make them feel. It's all about when they have it in their memory, they are reminded about the experience. It's going to bring those feelings back up, whether it was good or it was bad. And if I was to talk to each person who's on here now and say, okay, look, tell me about a good experience in life. Tell me about something good that happened to you. When you start talking about that good experience, it brings feelings up. So don't forget that we as people are just like the people we're serving, and we want to make sure that we can connect with them and give them a good feeling about the experience they're dealing with. So as we can see here, does it really matter what the customer sees, feels, and thinks? Absolutely. This is why the before experience should really be focused on through preparing that we can do, what we can do through our digital endeavors, our websites, our reputation management, our third-party inventory sites, all these different things we need to prepare so that we can, again, give to our customers a good experience, okay? Get ourselves ready, because at the end of the day, their experience is going to cause them to speak, and their voice travels throughout the community that they're in, throughout their families that they're in, throughout their circles of friendships that they have, and the world about how they were treated. I mean, people just love writing reviews about their experience. I mean, that's just the world we live in today. People love to talk about how they were were treated. So again, going through what we discussed here, we want to make sure again that we stay on point when it comes to knowing how to take care of our customers by, again, taking care of our websites, making sure our appearance is looking good, making sure that we treat our customers the right way, and giving them what's necessary, what they need, what they want, what their expectations are as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to take questions now. If anybody has any questions, we'd like to definitely go ahead and take them at this point.
Okay, so we have 2 questions. What if my customer refuses to get over their vision of car salesman and treats me badly? How can I convince them otherwise?
Well, that's a great question, because I have many times been a victim of that myself. And, again, many times we have to realize is that the experience that others have had with people in the past is many times the reason why they treat others in the future or in the present the way they do. And so many times we could just be getting the outlash or the lashback from that person about that experience. And, killing them with kindness is basically one of the things that I have done the best I can to master. I mean, it's hard, because especially if someone is pressing you and they're just rude and they're not nice and they're saying nasty things and they're treating you very disrespectfully, it's tough. But there's times where I've said things, that, I regretted saying. And then there's times where I just bit my tongue and I smiled and served the customer. And I just took away and slowly removed each brick from the wall that they put up against me. And eventually was able to peel back and see that, hey, they weren't really so bad of a person. They just had some bad experiences. So we want to make sure that we definitely, kill them with kindness and do the best we can with just serving them as best as we can. And you're not going to be able to change everybody's minds. People are people, and they're not going to always change. So the best thing you can do is just do the best, work the best on yourself and how you handle the person, and not give them any ammunition to go home with, so that they can say that they had another bad experience,
Next question is, what if I don't have the resources for proper staging? Could I use my iPhone or digital camera and take photos on the lot?
Yes. I mean, again, when it comes to the resources side of things, many of these things aren't very expensive. Specifically, you don't want to take pictures of your vehicles, just looking like they're in a parking lot. You really want to do the best you can with staging the vehicles, taking them and separating them from an area as far, somewhere where you can go. Now, look, I get it. If you're an independent lot or a used lot, or you have certain space limitations, you do the best with what you have. That's the first answer. Do the best with what you have. As best as you can make it look for what you're dealing with, do the best with what you have. If you do have space, take the time. Maybe if it's just going next to a wall that's just a blank wall and it's pulled away from everything else, and you're taking those photos in front of that, you can do that. Yes, cell phones are fine. Look, iPhone 5, iPhone 6, Galaxies, I mean, those phones are great for photos. And so you could do that, and you can take those pictures with that type of stuff. So yeah, absolutely, it's not a problem. But again, ultimately, you want to really make sure that whatever you're doing, you're using what you have and doing the best with what you have. So that's it. At this point here, it looks like here we're done with the questions. And I want to just say again, thank you to everybody who came out And if you guys want to go ahead and reach out and send any emails to me, you can reach me at joe@dealersynergy.com. Again, joe@dealersynergy.com. Or you can go ahead and you can also take my phone number down. My cell phone is 856-952-1786. And if you have any more questions, since we ran out of time here, you can email me at my email, again, at joe@dealersynergy.com, and I'll definitely respond back to you guys. So thank you so much. And Shawnee, it's all yours.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us at this week's webinar. Stay tuned for more information about next week's broadcast. And if you enjoyed this webinar, then you will love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform featuring hundreds of advanced videos that will train you step by step how to sell more cars more often and more profitably. Sign up now at www.bradleyondemand.com. And please remember, if you have any questions about the webinar, please feel free to contact me at shawnee@dealersynergy.com or by phone at 856-546-2440 extension 34. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Webinar Wednesday. If you liked it, you're going to love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform, featuring hundreds and hundreds of advanced videos that will train you step by step how to sell more cars, more often, and more profitably. Sign up now.